Firstly, I'd like to apologise, if I may, for the slightly unorthodox manner in which I've made this report. My name is Dunn, sir, Edward Dunn. I'm a flight sergeant, stationed up at RAF Drem. That's that base in Scotland where the project is that you've been inquiring after, Operation Hengis. We have already met before, but not properly like. I mean, you've spoken to me, but I'll wager you wouldn't remember. From what I recall, you seem to have spoken to half the base that day you came up to visit on behalf of the ministry. Well, that was several months ago, sir, and you'll remember you were escorted around by Colonel Alexander. He showed you the object, and he'll also have shown you all the different things he's used it to damage and to destroy. I know the Colonel has spoken to you about the pilot, Mr. Brudenell, but I don't think you would have been permitted to see him in person because of some excuse or other that would have been made to stop you. Well, Dr. Owens, I'm aware at some point you'll have spoken to him too. He's the doctor in charge of Mr. Brudenell. I think he was quite struck by how genuine you were, sir, not like a lot of the other officers who've visited the base since that thing was brought here. I mean, you seem to actually take an interest in what was being done, rather than what it all might lead to. Well, Dr. Owens knows there are things the Colonel wouldn't want you to know, on account of him wanting this project to look successful. And the doctor knew he couldn't approach you directly, so he had to find another way. You see, myself and one of the nurses, well, you'll not be wanting to know the detail, but we talk, and she was trying to help the doctor get a message to you, by unofficial means, because he's a good man, and he's got good intentions. The doctor's worried about Mr. Brudenell. I mean, the lad's only a youngster. He's not much older than my boy, and he might not last much longer the way things are going. He doesn't sleep. He's told the doctor he hears voices talking to him when there's nobody around, asking him where he is, asking him what he's doing, telling him they're going to come and find him and take him with them. The Colonel's been told about all this, and he's dismissed it. He says it's nonsense. But the doctor, he's not so sure. He thinks somebody might be trying to find the object, trying to get Mr. Brudenell to tell them where he is. Every time he goes up in that thing, sir, it's like he dies a little bit more, like it takes more of his soul away. After he took it up last week, against those bombers over the channel, he could barely walk when he got back to the base. I had to help walk him to the infirmary, and he was in there for 2 days. And that suit he wears, it doesn't let him do anything. He doesn't drink, eat, he doesn't even go to the bloody toilet. I know the Colonel's told you that he's close to unlocking the secrets in that thing, but well, he isn't. He just spends his days getting Mr. Brudenell to blow holes in things, and then take it up at night against the Germans. Truth is, he doesn't know much more about it now than the day that Mr. Brudenell got here. He can tell you all he wants about putting invisible weapons on Spitfires. It's all nonsense. The doctor wanted you to know Mr. Brudenell won't last much longer the way things are going. His body's breaking down, but his mind's going faster. And if his mind goes, he might not be able to control that blooming horrible thing that he's bonded to. Again, I'm sorry to have done things this way, sir. We're not allowed to leave the base. None of us. We can't even use the radio. The only contact we have is the occasional phone call into the base on the landline, on account of the Colonel not wanting the Germans to monitor any radio transmissions, or whoever else might be looking for that thing. I had to send this letter to my mum, and then have her send it on to you. Don't you worry, sir. She won't have read it. She's a good old girl. Anyway, you don't want to hear about her. The doctor just needs you to do something, sir. Anything to help Mr. Brudenell. It's not his fault he is where he is, the poor sod. But he was the one that it picked on that night to keep itself alive. If you have to inform the Colonel that it was me what told you, I'll understand. But I would rather you didn't, if you know what I mean, sir. Yours humbly, Flight Sergeant Edward Dunn, Royal Air Force Regiment, RAF Drem.